I, just like a lot of people, also have my fair share of struggles coping in this pandemic. I tend to worry a lot, and it seems like all these emotions are just heightened 1,000 times more these days. There are days when things feel like they're starting to look up, and there are days when I feel like I'm just engulfed in this really heavy cloud of worry and dissatisfaction. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, hospitals are full, people are losing their jobs, and add to that the feeling of isolation from the lockdown, right? It feels like the perfect recipe for anxiety and for some, depression. I, just like a lot of people, also have my fair share of struggles coping in this pandemic. I tend to worry a lot, and it seems like all these emotions are just heightened 1,000 times more these days. Just recently, I've lost someone so close and so dear to my family to this virus, and it was really heartbreaking, and it all happened so fast. And I feel like this is something that really no one can prepare you for. So now more than ever in these challenging times, I feel like it's so important to practice our ability to be there for ourselves, to show up for ourselves, and to know when to break the chain of fearful and unproductive thoughts. So in this video, I'd like to share with you some of the things that help me navigate through these difficult times and help me keep my mental health in check. I'm all for being informed with what's happening around us, and I know how important it is to be updated, right? But one thing I realized after consuming what feels like, 10 years worth of news in just 1 year, is that most of the time what's being reported on the news are not exactly the facts, but mostly just speculations and opinions of the news. And it can get pretty overwhelming just seeing so many different angles and takes of how bad everything is right now. So I try to limit my news consumption to as little as once a day, and I try not to watch them in real time. I also never consume news before going to bed, because otherwise I get so worked up. And also never first thing in the morning, because as some of you may know, I like to keep my mornings sacred. I first want to set the tone for my day and check some things off my to-do list before I kind of open myself up to the stressful news of the current events. I also read somewhere that the news is designed to make people watch more news. So because of this, I've just, stopped following developing stories, and I just try to find news that are more conclusive. I feel like I don't need to know how many more COVID cases there have been in the past hour and, how poorly everything's being handled at the moment. I find that it only creates unnecessary stress, and if there's something that I really need to know, I'm sure I'll find out about it one way or another. So know your limit as to how much news you can handle and set that boundary for yourself. I know this physical distancing can be quite frustrating. I'm sure, I definitely miss just having Sunday family gatherings, just celebrating milestones together. But I feel like the connection doesn't have to end there, right? Thankfully, there's still so many ways to emotionally connect with our loved ones. If you're having a tough day, think about the people you trust. Think about the people who make you laugh and the people who bring your spirits back up. Talk through your challenges with them, because these conversations help us process our thoughts. They help put our challenges into perspectives and help us, reframe them in a way that'll help us feel better. You can also be at the other end of it and just listen. You can check in with the people you love and just hold space for them. Listen to them and offer your support. We don't always have to find a solution or a fix, because sometimes just talking about our feelings is comforting enough. Sometimes you don't even have to discuss a situation at all. Just pick up the phone and check in with a loved one or someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. Then just catch up, exchange jokes, laugh, talk about everything and nothing, and just make that connection. I was just talking to a friend about this the other day, and we were saying that, with all the challenges that seem to be surrounding us right now, we feel like, what we really need to do is to actively seek out and, really notice the good things that are happening around us. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but at this point, you can't let all the stress and the negativity run the show, right? I'm sure you've heard about the power of gratitude, and now more than ever is when we really need to lock in that habit. And if you haven't yet, now is is the best time to practice it daily and incorporate it in our lives as much as we can. So you can start by squeezing it into your nightly routine. So before you sleep every night, just think about 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for in the day and really connect to that feeling. So instead of saying, I'm grateful for my family, you can say, I'm grateful for my kids who bring so much joy into our home, or I'm grateful for my husband who works so hard to provide for our family. And try to change your list every night and see how you feel a few days into your practice. This will help you relax and sleep better, and if you do this often enough, this gratitude practice will help rewire your brain to constantly, look for things that are working out. And this will really make a big difference in your mood. You know how they say an idle mind is a devil's workshop? With all the restrictions now, we're limited in terms of, the activities that we can do and the places that we can go, right? And we spend more time at home with not much to do and so much more to think about. So I try as much as I can to get out of my head and find something to keep myself busy. This helps me quiet the chatter in my head and keeps me from ruminating and feeling bad about the situation. Even just finding a simple hobby, something that interests you, something that you've been wanting to do for a while now but just never had the time for, like cooking, painting, writing, reading a book, or listening to a podcast. You can try to learn to play a musical instrument, or you can also just put on your favorite music and just sit back and just allow yourself to be swept away by it. Hobbies are wonderful stress relievers. They encourage us to unplug and just let our minds decompress. And in these times, it's a good diversion from the constant worries of the future. So think about what you like to do, and as long as it sparks joy, go for it. I know for some people the past year has been, really tough but still manageable, and for others, it's really been a difficult struggle where every day feels like a roller coaster of emotions. So checking in with yourself and seeing how all of this is affecting you is probably one of the most important things that you could do for your well-being. Journaling for me is a big practice. It really helped me sort through so many different emotions and challenges just by putting my thoughts on paper and kind of, really seeing them for what they are. It helps me clear my mind and put things into perspective. A lot of the times, the stories that play in our head are so much worse than they actually are. Seneca once said that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. So letting our thoughts out on paper can really help us understand them better and help us free up some space in our head. If you're still finding your groove and you feel like you don't know what to write or where to begin, you can go online and find so many, journal prompts to help you get started. Here are some of the prompts that work for me. What feels uncertain in my life right now? What does uncertainty feel like? How can I structure my day to feel more settled? How can I let go of the things that are not in my control? Where am I getting my strength from? What can I do to get out of my head? What can I be grateful for? In what way can I embrace this uncertainty, and how can I be more adaptable? I know it's been tough for a lot of us, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have questions like, when are we gonna get through this, or how are we gonna get through this, right? So I hope that these tips served as a reminder that at this point, it's more about, just creating a healthy and a stable headspace, not only to be able to deal with everything that's going on around us, but also so that we can be there for ourselves and for others as well. I try to remind myself that on the other side of this, there's resilience and there's growth, and nothing is permanent. Recognizing that nothing stays the same way forever. Every day is different, so let's try to take each day as it comes. So I want to close this with a quote from my meditation this morning that goes, when we wake up every morning, we hold in our hands a fresh new start and a chance to look at our life with a new perspective. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I also welcome you to share some of your techniques that work well for you so that we can also help each other during these difficult times, right? Don't forget to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!